Hey guys, Funsho here from We Coach Crypto. I'm going to do a video for you today, which is really dumbed down, and I'm going to talk about what Bitcoin is and why it's so important. And I want to do this on the most basic beginner level that I can, just really to get across to you guys where my head is with it all, and just a really simple way for you guys to get an understanding. So, what is Bitcoin? Okay. So I see Bitcoin as a means of exchange of value. Okay. So the closest thing that you can probably match it to would be it's an online money. It's a peer to peer, meaning from one person to another, electronic cash, so to speak. And the further you dig into it and start understanding the mechanics of Bitcoin and how it actually works, you will start realizing that actually all Bitcoin is a computer file that's stored on a network of computers, okay, which is called a public blockchain. But why would you want to invest in something like that or use it or have it in the first place? And I think that's actually the more important and interesting thing to talk to you guys about. So I'm going to tell you from my perspective how I see it and why I think it's a really important thing for the entire world and for people that want to make money and also want to be free from the current financial system and the way that it works. So Bitcoin was created about 12 years ago. Okay. So it came into fruition in 2009, I believe it was. And really, the thing that blew people away with it was the fact that you no longer needed a central point of authority, a middleman. So it was like, any transaction that you want to do, the first thing that pops into your head is, well, I need the bank to be able to do that. I've got to go to the bank, hand them my money, and they'll send it wherever it needs to go. And as a result, depending on whether you've got a business account or you're doing overseas transactions or whatever else, they take a little percentage for themselves for doing that work and carrying it out. And the further you delve into understanding how banks work and how the monetary system works, you start realizing that actually they haven't got all of everybody's money. It's being used to make more money. It's being used on the stock markets. It's being used on the bond markets. It's being used all over the place. And if we all went at the same time to the banks and said, hey, we want our money, they wouldn't be able to give it us. And as scary as that sounds, it's the truth. If we all literally got up today, everyone on the planet went to the bank that you bank with and asked for the money that's in your account, supposedly, right now, you wouldn't be able to get it. They're called bank runs. So, you'll have heard of this in 2008 and before that in other major, financial crashes where people are trying to go and get their money out from the banks and they can't facilitate it. They've literally closed their doors. So, outside of that, you start thinking, well, what other ways are there for me to be able to transact with something that's got value? So for me, when I started looking into Bitcoin and understanding the technology behind it, it blew me away. I was like, wow, blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, this is the future. It's the future of finance. This whole financial system, the way that it's been running for many, many, many years, okay, it's time for a change. And this is a revolutionary way for people to be able to transact. And, this stuff might bore you, but if you start understanding the mechanics of how things work around you in the world, you can start positioning yourself in a place where you can benefit from it. Because sometimes you can go up against people, but you're not going to win. So if you can't beat them, join them. And that's how I see it with this. This whole thing with Bitcoin, being able to send transactions anywhere in the world within 10 minutes at a fraction of the cost of what it would cost you to do an international transfer. It's a no-brainer. So businesses have started going, hang on a minute, this is extremely attractive to me. Can you imagine some of these mega corporations that are doing lots and lots of international trade and business, and they're having to wait 4 or 5 days for a transaction to go through. There's lots of paperwork involved because of the sums of money that they're actually having to send. And what cryptocurrency has created for them is a way for them to carry out that transaction within 10 minutes or less. Okay, so I'm talking about Bitcoin because everyone knows Bitcoin. They've heard of Bitcoin, but they don't really understand it, a lot of people. So there are other cryptocurrencies out there that can do it in seconds at a fraction of the cost. You know, I see Bitcoin as actually a little bit clunky now and a bit slow, and you know, it was amazing. It's like it's the king of the market, and it will never ever be forgotten. But just like anything else new that comes out, there are further advancements. So you look at, you know, projects like XRP, they do lightning fast cross-border transactions in seconds at hardly any cost whatsoever. I mean, this is unbelievable because it didn't exist before. So banks are running around trying to get that technology for themselves and acquiring little startup companies and buying into different projects that are out there. And hedge funds want to get a piece of the pie too, and private banks and retail investors. And that's what we are. So as retail investors, we need to understand what the opportunities are with Bitcoin. And for me, it's the fact that you can be your own bank first and foremost. Okay, that's fantastic. We've removed the middleman. I can now carry out a transaction with anyone else anywhere in the world within 10 minutes using Bitcoin, okay, without any need for a bank. Whereas the traditional one, it's I've got to instruct my bank, who are the central point of authority. They're the boss. They can say and do as they please to an extent, and they will then carry out that transaction to another bank in order for me to send money to one of you guys. Okay, so imagine that middle person's just gone. Why do we need banks now? Honestly, why do we need them? We genuinely don't. And people will think, well, if you've got all this crypto, like, how do you spend it? You know, we deal in pounds and dollars and euros. Well, actually, no, because Visa have got over 53 different cards that allow you to pay for anything you want using your cryptocurrency. So why would you need a bank anymore? You don't need one. And if you understand economics and you understand what the pandemic has done to society and our economy, and how our economy is failing, and how fiat currencies, meaning the pound, the dollar, are failing and devaluing constantly, and have been for hundreds of years. For the Great British Pound sterling, it's the longest standing currency of all time. But the majority of currencies that are out there that are fiat, they have a shelf life of about 100 years. Now, unless you go off and research this, you'd never know in your lifespan that this is the case. So, what we're trying to do is educate people. Our mission is to help 1 million people understand cryptocurrency and the opportunities that it brings, not just from a standpoint of, screw the banks, but, how about having financial inclusion? How about being your own bank? How about the fact that you can also make really good money out of investing in the right projects too? This is huge. And for me, I see a massive paradigm shift happening. This is like a technology industry boom. Okay. So every 10 years, what you'll see is new technology advancements. We saw it with the dot-com boom, with the internet. Okay. And then you think about another 10 years where you had social media. And then you think another 10 years and you're talking about apps and, smartphones and all this kind of thing. Look at the value of these companies. We can go all the way back to like AOL, Microsoft, Apple, back in the day, okay? And then you start looking at some of the more current ones like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. These corporations are worth a fortune. And if you invested in them early on, you would have a hell of a lot more money right now. Now, that's where I see an opportunity with cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, AI, the cloud storage, the oracles, the gaming industry, it's NFTs. It's just unbelievable how much opportunity there is in this marketplace. But obviously, you guys need to carry out your own research. You need to understand it more. You need to dive further down the rabbit hole to really be on that same level of understanding to see what the opportunity is. But what I can tell you is money's going to come out of cash because people don't want to see their money devaluing. If we're going to have a stock market crash, if we're going to have a big economic, implosion, okay, which believe me, it will happen. It's just a matter of time as to when it does. It could be next year, could be in 5 years, who knows? But ultimately, it is going to happen. Do you think all the smart investors out there and massive corporations are going to leave their money where it is and just watch the value of it absolutely plummet? No chance, not happening. So what are they going to do? They're going to take their money out of cash and they're going to put it into more traditional assets like gold and silver and property and all that kind of thing. And what you've got to understand is this new space has created an opportunity for people where they're seeing Bitcoin as a good store of value. Now, the reason they see it as a good store of value is because it's a deflationary investment. Okay, so this is where it starts becoming a little bit more tricky for people. But when you understand this, okay, people keep printing money. Okay, so that's inflation. So the more money you print, the less buying power you have got. So there's no fixed supply of cash. They can just keep adding it, print it, add numbers to a screen. Okay, with Bitcoin, you cannot do that. There are 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be in existence, which means that if you've got something that's constantly devaluing and people are printing more and more of that, and you're losing your buying power, or that the number would stay the same that's in your bank account, but actually you're losing value on it. People are starting to take a portion of that and go, well, hang on a minute, I don't want to lose all of my value. I'm going to go and put it into gold or silver or cryptocurrency, because the way you've got to look at it is, if the more people print money, okay, the more inflation that there is, and the more the whole world from an economy standpoint looks like it's going down the pan, Bitcoin starts looking attractive to people at this point, not only because it's a store of value, but because historically it has constantly performed for people that have invested in it. Now, of course, we've had crashes in the marketplace, but that's when you take a zoomed in approach to crypto. When you step right back and look at it over the course of years, it's just gone up, down a bit, up further, down a bit, up further, down a bit, trickled along, flying up again. And there's no reason why, based on everything else that's going on in the world, that this isn't going to continue. I believe it's going to continue. I'm investing in it. I'm investing in lots of other cryptocurrency projects too. And the reason I'm doing that is because I know this is the future of finance. I know that it's a safer place for me to put my wealth than to keep it in the pound or the dollar that are constantly devaluing. Of course, your everyday, pop to the shop, buy something. If you want to use cash or use the money that's in your bank account, feel free to do that. But you don't have to anymore. You don't need to. You can just go and buy cryptocurrency. You can go and get a card, and then you can use it as if you were using the card that you get from HSBC or Barclays or Lloyd's, But you've also got to understand that there are market cycles. So the value of your cryptocurrency at times, okay, can plummet. It can, just like any other market. Nothing travels in a straight line. There are times where it will pull back. There are times where it will crash. When you can understand how to identify when a crash is coming and be able to come back over to cash temporarily, because the devaluing of that cash during that market correction of crypto, you're actually in a better place than the cash. But the minute it's dropped down, guess what? You jump straight back over with that cash, buy all of that crypto at a lower rate. And where do you think the crypto is going next? Historically, always gone up and gone even higher. So My proof will be in the pudding when you guys see the price of Bitcoin over $64,000. And I'm putting my head on the chopping board saying, you're going to see that this year. And you're going to see it go way past $64,000. So I've been talking about this stuff for years, literally. I've been an investor for over 5.5 years. I understand the market cycles. I understand the projects that are worth getting into. And I understand what the future of finance looks like. So for me, this is the number one investment tool that is out there right now. There is nothing that can compare or even come close to it. And obviously, this isn't financial advice, but you've got to understand, guys, Bitcoin's the number one performing asset in the world ever. It has risen over 9 million% in 10 years. There is no other asset on the planet that has ever done that. And Bitcoin's not the only one that's performing in that manner. There are loads of other cryptocurrencies that are getting amazing gains too. So when you start understanding what these projects look like, you can make yourself a great deal of money. So hopefully you guys have got a bit more of an understanding for where my head's at, what Bitcoin is, why it's so important, what it's doing, what the future looks like. But believe me, in my opinion, there's a tsunami of money that's going to come into this industry. And all you're going to see is a constant rise over the long term of the value of quality projects that have got utility, solving world problems. And Bitcoin's one of them, because even though Bitcoin, as I said earlier, it's a bit clunky now, it's a bit slow, and it still takes 10 minutes to do a transaction, which to most people, they wouldn't really care about that. But when you start talking lightning fast transactions and, everything's 100 mile an hour in the world these days, everyone wants everything quicker, faster, cheaper. There are better projects out there. But what Bitcoin is Bitcoin's the digital gold. It's your savings account. It's the one that you can rely on. Put your money into it when you know that the market is on an upward trend, and it will just chug away for you nicely. I mean, just the last few years, you've been getting on average 300% gains just by buying Bitcoin and sitting there and doing nothing. And that's with you not taking advantage of the up and downs that are in there, where you might have been able to sell at the top, buy at the bottom, sell at the top, buy at the bottom. That's just buy it and don't touch it. And in a year, whatever you've put into it, 300% on top. You ain't getting that in an ISA, guys. So any questions, leave them in the comments below, as always. In working with us and find out more about the services that we offer, because we can help you guys to understand which projects to get into. We can build you a portfolio. We can help you to learn how to trade professionally so that you can earn a residual income off the back of cryptocurrencies. Get in contact with us. We've also got lots of free resources. You can go onto our website. You'll find the details for that in the description below. Book an appointment with us if you want to talk to us. You can also pop down to our offices. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell to get future updates on other videos that we put out. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I look forward to catching up with you in the next one. Take care.